SCRS Ferrari Challenge has 4 rounds remaining in the season, right here at Lime Rock Park. Next week at the Indianapolis Road Course, the week after at Imola, and then we're going to round out the season at Road America in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. Tonight, we race on a little bull ring here in Lakeville, Connecticut, Lime Rock Park, the Grand Prix circuit, the little 1-mile racetrack with the cake down the backstretch heading up the hill. Finishing tonight, it's round number 11 of the season, and it's time to go racing at a place we all know and love, Lime Rock Park. This is where your iRacing career starts, and tonight, it's getting closer and closer to the end of the season, where these guys' career, at least for this season, will be over.
Yeah, indeed. Really looking forward, especially to seeing how the ongoing battle between Zach Hefner and Kirk Crum's going to play out. Those guys have been going neck and neck, back and forth, round after round over the last few rounds of the series. They've really emerged as the championship favorites amongst themselves, and that battle is still close as ever heading into the final 4 rounds.
So head down to the racetrack here in just a minute, and we've got qualifying already underway. So let's head down there right now and get a little bit of a look at the cars and drivers that we're going to be working with tonight. And there is the beautiful sunset. The weather here tonight, absolutely perfect. 75 degrees ambient, 76 degree track surface temperature. Just about, well, I guess it's a morning here, 6 o'clock a.m. But it's just typically a little earlier than they'll let you race here at Lime Rock Park. But we get to do it here in the simulator. And qualifying just beginning now, and we'll head out of the racetrack and get things started here, Finney.
Very early in the morning for racing, but, you know, racing never sleeps, especially for these guys. Up bright and early around this track. Currently, Tubbs Cooper actually was the fastest time in qualifying, but it's quickly starting to change, and as a few guys start to come across the line, completing their first few laps, Hefner jumps to the top of the board, along with Jake Johansson in the 06 car.
I gotta be honest, I've never heard the colloquialism, racing never sleeps, but I'll give you that one. I think it's city never sleeps. But
oh yeah, but racing never sleeps.
Well, it does, usually.
Well, yeah, now it does.
In Lakeville, Connecticut, it doesn't start until about, I think, they got like 1 to 5 p.m. is about their time slot before the neighbors get angry. But here, it doesn't matter. I don't even think, the funny thing is, the church that always complains about the noise, I don't even think it's modeled, and it should be. It's because it's close enough, but I don't think they even modeled it into the game. Either way, 7 minutes left in qualifying. You mentioned Hefner jumping to the top of the board. Couple new drivers we have to take note of tonight. Sartaj Man in the number 49 car. He's got a teammate here tonight as well, and he is driving in the number, looking for him right now on the screen, the number 8 car, Colton Lights. So this is going to be a really interesting team, brand new to SCRS Ferrari Challenge. We'll see how they go. Colton Lights' best time right now, 16th best with a 59.3. So we'll see if he can jump up as he gets pushed down. The 17th now as a couple drivers go quicker.
Yeah, and it really is amazing. The participation this season has been phenomenal. There's been, I think, almost 30 to 40 guys, different guys that have graced the track this season alone. At some point or another, we got at least 20 guys here tonight, 23 to be exact. So great participation for this even, especially towards the end, and nice to see even still new teams and new drivers arriving.
Well, new drivers might be arriving, but I think the same ones are still dominating. Zachary Hefner in the 51 has had some good runs lately. Maybe not quite as good as he was the first couple rounds of the season, but the driver he's been fighting with, Kurt Crum in the 87, wasn't very excited about running this race tonight. I think a lot of drivers are a little bit concerned about this size of this racetrack and the number of cars, and these are fast cars, 500, 600 horsepower GT3 machines on a track this small. This is a recipe for disaster. But this group is so good. I think we'll get through it okay, but I can see why some drivers might not be thrilled about the idea of racing at this track with these cars.
Yeah, absolutely, especially it's a very tight, I mean, effectively it's a club racing track, but the fastest things they do race here, even in real life, is the GT and GT3 machinery in the the GT Le Mans and Daytona class in the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship. So you see these guys work through the chicane, and that's the layout they're running, as opposed to running the normal uphill layout.
Right, so we're taking the chicane here tonight, as you mentioned, Finney, that quick right-left at the end of the back straightaway. You can look on the left-hand side of the screen here. There is the chicane. That's where the orange car is going through right now, right against the left-hand side of your monitor. And all the way against the left side, that's the right-hand sweeper uphill. That's turn number 5. Typically, with any car slower than a GT3, that's the corner you'll take. The problem is, if you get into a faster car, they'd start to take flight at the top of that crest. So to slow them down over that crest, they navigate a very tight chicane and head uphill towards turn number 6 and number 7. The problem with the chicane, you see those big anti-cut curbs on the inside, they're painted red. That's because you want to stay off those. They will destroy your car.
Yeah, and really what the chicane does, it adds another passing opportunity on the back straight. You know, typically in most series, you can even argue still here tonight the main passing opportunity is down into turn number 1, but this chicane adds another heavy braking zone where guys can potentially, you know, make a move to the inside of the chicane, although again it's going to be really tight heading through there, so you got to be careful, but definitely it is possible.
Yeah, so turn number 1, we're looking at it right now underneath the bridge. This is after a very long straightaway on the front straight, so this is where you can use the slipstream, get out to driver's right, make a pass. The problem is, turns 1 and turn 2, they're basically right together. They're kind of a double apex corner. It's a long turn, you get stuck on the outside, you're actually going to be setting yourself up for an inside run into turn 3. So there's actually an opportunity to keep your position out there. We're going to see if people can leverage that tonight. Jake Johansson, new to the series, within the couple races in. Yeah, here he is running second, amazingly quick, 7,000th off Hefner's time.
And if he joined, earlier in the season, definitely could have been a competitor along with Hefner and Crum in the championship. He's been doing a really solid job. Took a little bit to get up to speed. I think his first round was, I believe, at Catalunya around that time in the season, and then really started to merge in the top 5 consistently. And even for that matter, Justin Johansson, who's actually I thought he was just in behind in the timing sheets, but a little bit further back in 6th. He's also been running really well, had a really solid run in that WeatherTech machine at Road Atlanta.
I also really love this paint scheme. Something about white and black on a Ferrari is it's so nice to see something other than red on a Ferrari like this. He comes across through a 51.4. That'll put him, or keep him 6th rather, so he'll stay there. But the Johansson guys, right now, Jake Johansson goes quickest with a 51.1, so he jumps to the top of the board. Impressive run for him. Nicholas Morelli, another name that we saw join throughout the season, and he's in 3rd right now. So a lot of drivers that are new to the series all of a sudden finding lots of pace. Carter Kundinger, who started the season well and continues to run pretty well, sits 4th right now.
He kind of drifted back into really into the background of the season. I think really emerged at the beginning. He was running fairly well and has kind of dropped off the pace a little bit. He's had a few great showings in recent weeks, but again, it's too little too late. He's kind of dropped out by the point of being a really solid contender, unless Hefner and Crum have some really appalling runs over the next 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah, so right now, Kundinger sits 3rd in the overall championship here.
He's actually a no-show at
Road Atlanta, yeah. And I think we noted that last week, but here he is. He's back in the show. There's Isaac Snyder's number 333. He's all the way back. It looks like, only 6th place. So Isaac Snyder even getting a good run. Where is Kurt Crum? All the way down in 12th place. So the driver that's currently leading the standings, not having quite as good of a run in qualifying as he thinks he needs. However, remember, we run 3 races tonight, so there is lots of opportunity to gain points.
Yeah, as he works back across the line, he's got essentially 2 more attempts to put in a faster time. Start another attempt as he comes across the line. This time, 52.2, not fast enough to improve, so still some speed left to find for him. You there see Kundinger right in behind, currently sitting in 5th.
Eric Mickey in the number 10, or excuse me, the number 88 Bombshell Racing Team car in 10th. The best of the Bombshell cars at the moment, I believe, with Crum back in 13th and Andrew Mickey down in 19th place in his number 86. So some work to do for this team tonight. Some of the attrition guys running up towards the front, as we mentioned. Isaac Snyder in 7th, Robert Rattray in the 33. This is interesting. I want to take a look at the top side of the screen here, Finian. Take a look at our Pro and Am category drivers. Arroyan goes to the top of the board just now with a 51.08. But there's 3 of our top 5 are pros, and then there's only 2 more inside the top 10. So there's 5 of our 10 are pro drivers. The other 5 are AMs.
Yeah, it really is interesting. I'd honestly throw in both Johansson's, potentially, I think, almost on pro pace. Those guys have really been up there in the scrap in the last few weeks. Obviously, they joined too late to really be scored in that position. But yeah, I definitely it's interesting to see a mix here, and I think that's not surprising as well, considering the gaps between the top part of the field and the back part of the entire field is separated by 1.7 seconds, which isn't really that much. But when you consider the fact that the lap times around here are only 51 seconds, I think probably the shortest lap time on the entire calendar for these guys. It really is a decent spread.
It is the shortest lap on our calendar by a pretty significant margin. Lap times, as you mentioned, about 51 seconds. We're going to rip a whole lot more laps than we are minutes around here. Remember, 15, 15, 20, the 3 races we have here this evening. So thank you for joining us for SCRS Ferrari Challenge from Lime Rock Park. You're watching Sim TV. It's been a pretty busy week here. Tomorrow night, we got the Washington, D.C. region SCCA iRacing League. They'll be taking on New Jersey Motorsports Park. It'll be a 2-race evening tomorrow, working with another league, so that'll be a fun one to watch. Saturday, Outsider Racing League is off, but I'll be working behind the scenes for the SCCA Hoosier Esports Super Tour. We'll be headed to Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas for that race. And then Sunday afternoon, GT Rivals from, where are we this week? We are Suzuka this week for GT Rivals, the Assetto Corsa Competizione Championship for GT World Challenge America. And that's pretty much it we got coming up this weekend, so a little bit of a lighter week. But Britting up and getting ready to go racing tonight, we've got just about 23 drivers lined up for this race, which is a really healthy field size. I'm glad we don't have more, though, because if we had more, I don't think we could get this first lap clean.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah. I mean, how many did we have for that SCCA race?
Well, we had 60 for it, or 55 for the SCCA race.
Yeah.
But it all hell broke loose after about lap 5, so.
Yeah. So.
That was a multi-class race, though.
It was, but it's still having that many cars. There was a lot of chaos once the field started. When the faster cars were working on through, there was a lot of incidents. But yeah, I think having half the number will definitely help that out.
Starting lineup's going to roll across the bottom of the screen. We'll let that roll, but I want to take a couple more notes about the chicane, because one of the things that's tricky about the chicane is the braking zone, because you want to charge this so much, but I'm not sure that will really gain you a lot of time, because I think you're going to gain a whole lot more time on exit here. The problem is that this entry is so narrow that drivers might see this as a passing zone, and I think it would be with cars that are slower than this, but I think you kind of got to be single file once you get to this corner. You run double file through, you might make it. You're going to damage your car, though. I think you're going to have some side-by-side contact.
Yeah, and again, that's the kind of the concern. I don't really think we'll see this a lot of side-by-side down into the chicane the first few laps.
Oh boy.
I mean,
I disagree, but I guess we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I feel like guys might try to use that more as a last resort later into the race. I think we might see maybe on the first lap, not so much the second laps. I think really when these guys start to get aggressive, they'll be more trying to use that backstretch chicane as opposed to turn 1.
So a field rolling through turn number 1 right now. It's Jeff Arroyan and Jake Johansson that are sharing that front row. Looks like Johansson went a little bit quicker towards the end of that session and grabbed the pole position away from Jeff Arroyan, puts him on driver's left for turn number 1. Now we head into turn 3. This is one of the few left-handers on this racetrack. You have to really drift out wide to set this up, but you're really using turn 3 to set up for turn 4, which is the run onto the back straight. And this is going to be an important corner tonight, especially with that chicane. Got to nail this corner and at least try to get a run down to the right-left uphill.
It's going to be a very interesting corner for these guys, especially I think lap 1 is probably going to see the most chaos down into here. Because even in the pace lap, these guys have to navigate really slow. The funny thing, too, is the AI cars did a horrible job of working through here. I did some AI races.
I haven't tried to get on this, actually.
Oh, they come through here on a crawl. It's to the point where I think if you had this size field, the guys in the back, they wouldn't get back to the front by the time you took the green. It's really interesting to see them navigate through there.
Oh, boy. Well, having done AI for Enter 2003, I'm aware of how difficult it is to get that to work right. We had issues with our Binghamton Motorsports Park track with turn 1 and the hairpin.
It's a classic.
Yeah. Go back to about 2017?
Yeah, that was a while ago.
All right, time to go racing SCRS for our challenge round number 11 from Lime Rock Park Grand Prix. We're gonna go racing 3 times tonight. We'll start race 1 now. It's Johansson and Arroyo on the front row. The run down to turn 1. Green flag flies for racing at Lime Rock Park. Whoa, trouble in the back. I think that's Andrew Mickey hard into the fence. That's a lot of damage to his car.
Yeah, I saw some 3-wide action going in the background. Not sure that was related. A few guys around and off into turn 1 and 2.
Colton Lights is off. A couple other drivers getting bunted and pushed around as we head towards the chicane for the first time. A little bit of trouble, but for the most part, the field has made it so far.
Here they go down through there. The first time they receive pass from, I believe that's Eric Mickey. Whoa! Car off and around. Shabelski.
Well, sort of. And a couple of drivers are just going to cut the uphill here and do the best they can to avoid collision. And I like this strategy here. If you can't make the chicane, take the uphill. It's not a huge penalty to do it. You can blend back into traffic and you'll get out there alive. So looks like so far so good. A little bit of chaos, but lap 1 is complete as we head down to turn number 1 again for the second time as the leader comes on through. Johansson. There's Sartaj Maan in the 49. He started in 15th. He's gained 3 spots up to 12th.
Yeah, I think took advantage of that chaos that ensued in the midfield here. Pass going on right here. There we see Corey Hart's work up the inside of Johnny Bell. He'll get that spot. I see Cooper and Pigula. They're exchanging positions for 18th.
Yeah.
Background down into turn 1.
Pagula's that 22 car in the back of the shot there. Brian Shabelski working over him. Brian Sohn was one of the drivers involved in a bit of a push and slide into the chicane for the first time. As we head back over there for the second lap, you see, I think that was the 22 car, 21 maybe, Drew Lidke on the uphill. A bit of a jump over the curb, and that is an aggressive curb down there. You do not want to get your tires up on that. Or actually, a tire's probably all right. You don't want to get the chassis up on that, is really what you want to say.
You can, be fine with just, the front tires clipping you just a bit on the outside. You don't want to be running over. That's where you're really going to start to damage your car. And it's just also going to ruin your run because then when you get the car airborne, the traction control starts to do all wonky stuff. And then also looking at Rattray making a pass on Kurt Crum in the 87. He goes back into 9th.
Rattray moving forward. Kurt Crum, I don't think has advanced a whole lot since the start of the race. Trying to get the spot back. Right behind him, his teammate in the Bombshell Racing Team stable. That's Eric Mickey. He's got Drew Lidke all over him. Right in front, though, is Justin Johansson in the 119, chasing down Snyder, who's having a good start to this race, up in 6th.
Trying to get up to Morelli. Morelli having a really solid run in the 714 car, currently in the top 5, started in 4th. So he drifted back a spot, but again, still a really good run for him.
There's Christian Ost in the 157. How about this? 23rd to 12th. What a start for Christian Ost.
On a really solid move up the grid. Curious to see. I feel like most of that came from turn 1. I think just him taking. I believe he was one of those cars that just skipped the chicane and went on the uphill to avoid the pileup.
Performed quite nicely, so he'll slot himself into line in 12th place. Now, we've got the field a little bit spread out. Now, when I say spread out, everyone's about a half a second apart, but it's so difficult, sorry to bump you there, so difficult to overcome these small gaps here without diving a little bit deeper into the braking zones, and I just don't think that's going to gain you a lot of time here. It's all about setting up the corner exits, but look at this, the 233 and 51, teammates lined up, and now Isaac Snyder's got work to deal with on Nicholas Morelli. Morelli's going to run wide over the West Bend chicane. Can he pull it back on track? Yes, he will. He's going to give up 2 spots to Snyder and Johansson.
Might even give him another spot in behind him. Rattray's got a great run out of the final turn, and now Morelli's trying to have to defend. Actually, Rattray defending from there. You see the 87 of Kurt Crum trying to make a move on the outside.
That was really dicey. Now they're going to break side by side into turn 1. Rattray hangs onto the spot now. Crum has got his teammate lined in behind. Look at Crum throttle the car up. Oh, car off the racetrack. There's Snyder off in the dirt in turn 1, so he's run wide as these guys continue to battle for now 7th place. As Rattray has it, Crum and Mickey, the Bombshell teammates, won it with, looks like, Drew Lidke right in behind. Jake Johansson leads this race. Roy and Hefner the rest of the podium for now as we head up the uphill. Rattray, Crum, Eric Mickey locked in a nose-to-tail battle here. But for the lead, Arroyan is here. Not a great run onto the front straight, though.
Yeah, no, I'm going to fall back in behind for Roy, and he's trying to look for a solid run. Same thing for Hefner, too. An entire top 3 all nose-to-tail, essentially.
Whoa, spin error, and that's Robert Rattray sideways at the exit of turn 7. We will go back and take a look at how that happened. But the bombshell teammates into turn one. Bit dicey there. Crum's going to hang on.
There's Lidke and Morelli in behind, and I imagine there's something between Morelli and Rattray.
Let's take a look at how this potentially happened here as they headed down turn number 7.
There's Morelli sideways into the final corner. It's
Yep, right there. Nothing that Rattray or Morelli did wrong, just bad timing for Rattray for sure.
Actually, that contact between Rattray and Morelli that helped straighten Morelli out and was able to continue on, dropped a few spots, but the car was straight and heading in the right direction, looking at Arroyo and Hefner now. I'm curious how these guys are going to try to settle the score. Teammates running second and third.
Though this is advantageous for them to have teammates nose to tail like this because Arroyo knows Hefner's not going to do anything silly. They're going to just continue to track down Jake Johansson. They weren't any quicker last time by, but give them a few laps, I think they will be. Crum and Eric Mickey now nose to tail as they have been. They've disposed with some traffic. Sartaj Mann and Corey Hartz, teammates running 12th and 13th right now. They might trade spots here to the inside.
Yeah, pretty effectively in the midfield. Whoa! Dive to the inside by Corey Hartz.
And he'll get the spot moving 12th. This track is so fun to lap in a car this fast. Racing on it is pretty scary, though.
Yeah, it definitely is scary and also pretty difficult. Again, the prime passing opportunity down into turn 1. The backstretch is there if you need it, but so far I haven't really seen any passes down there other than really on lap 1 when these guys roll pretty close together.
Ryan and Hefner, again, I don't think they're going to battle. They're perfectly content running just like this. But they are starting to track down Johansson. They were 2/10 faster. Arroyo and Hefner, have a look at this, Finian. Look at the last lap for Zachary Hefner. 51.149 for Jeff Arroyo. 51.149.
Oh, wow.
Both of them identical laps at exactly the same pace. Both of them, for both of them, that was their best lap as well. To the 1,000th, identical.
Yeah, that's really interesting there. It would have been funny if they both ran the fastest lap of the race. I'm curious to see who actually gave was the faster lap. The fastest lap of the race currently is set by Jake Johansson, and even he's only gone a few thousandths faster for his best time, being a 51.131.
Pretty amazing how close things are right now. 6 minutes left in this race, and because of the way that we're actually running more laps than we are time right now, so that's the reason why the lap counter is showing us, because we're actually this is going to be a lap timed race versus a timed distance race. So the way that timing works in iRacing, you run more laps than are set, you're going to get laps showing. So deeper in the field, Corey Hartz and Tartaj Mann still running 12th and 13th. And 17th place is the other teammate here, Colton Lights, and Robert Rattray working his way back through the field.
He's going to have a potential look up the inside, get on past.
That was a pretty easy pass for him there, so he'll go on through as he tries to climb back up the order. Gonna have a battle for the lead here, and now there's lap traffic involved.
Yeah, I was just gonna say there's some lap traffic. Not only this car, I believe that's Johnny Bell.
I believe it's the 23rd place car. It's Ben Shout.
Oh,
66.
Shout, okay.
Thank you to the digital board numbers on the windshield. Gripex Engineering Ferrari leads. A little bit of a drift out wide in turn 1, though. That's gonna bring Jeff Arroyo right to the tailpipes here as they head through turn 2 and 3.
He's ready to make a move. Again, the question is really, where is he going to make the move?
Well, you got really two options. You have into the chicane, which I don't really recommend, but it's possible.
That's what I was saying. It's kind of more of a last-ditch effort if all else fails. There's Johnny Bell, I think, in the 72 up ahead.
Hefner ran real tight to the curb at the exit of the chicane. That brought Kundinger right up to the tailpipes of him. Through turn 6 now, Johansson still hangs on to the lead, and I think as long as he keeps hitting his marks, he'll be fine here, but you cannot give someone the inside lane working around lap traffic. You need to force them to move over, and it looks like the 22nd place Johnny Bell car is going to do that. So lights flashing because he's telling, I think that's Andrew Mickey up the road, that he's coming and he needs space.
Starting to run out of laps here for these guys. They got 5 laps to go.
Look at Arroyo close in the middle sector here. So
really
good through turn 3.
Really, I was just about to say he's ran a really good line. That's where he's been making up the most time on Johansson through turn 3. And then the rest of the track he's been kind of playing follow the leader. Haven't really seen a dive out of him yet. Whoa, really deep on the brakes.
Yeah, he's gaining time on the brakes here, but he loses on the exit of the chicane. That's where Johansson's beating him right now. So I think he needs to back that up just a little bit to get a better run out of that corner and have a shot here.
But he might be a factor here. Johansson's going to catch him here. He's going to probably be held up by Mickey through this corner.
He might get lucky. I think he backed off a little bit so that he'd catch him on the front straight, and now Mickey's going to pull over. Great driving there by Mickey to let the leaders on through. So now with 4 laps to go, Johansson continues to lead by 0.3 of a second.
And really, and now with Mickey kind of filing in between himself and Ryan, or sorry, between Hefner, make it finally a 2-car battle for the lead here in the closing laps. Hefner is going to fall out.
Oh, Eric Mickey! Sorry to cut you off. Eric Mickey's going around in the 88 bombshell car. And he just overdrove turn 1. It's so easy to do this.
That's a pretty rare mistake out of the 88 machine.
It just sails off into turn 1, and he...
Oh, the back end, he's had the back end around down into... He was struggling to get the car slowed down. It started to slide as he entered into turn 1, so fortunate for him.
All right, 3 laps to go this time through. Johansson still leads, Arroyan right behind, 0.4 back. He needs to do something different, though, Finney, and I think he's got to start backing up that chicane. That'll get him a little bit closer and have a run here into turn 1. That's what he's got to do. We'll see if he's learning that on the fly and if he'll adjust his line.
Really getting really close to Johansson, especially here. This is his best section of track.
Tucking in nice and tightly. Yeah, he gained so much time through here. This is why, if he can just nail the chicane, it's game over.
Yeah, and again, he did a perfect job there, you know, being late on the gas into turn 3. It set him perfectly up for turn 4 and his back straightaway.
It's better, but he's still getting beat. Really, the 3rd to 4 upshift is really where Johansson gaps him. But you see, Johansson was a little bit farther drivers left into turn 6, and Roy left some racetrack on the table there, I think.
Yeah, and he clipped the curb as well, which definitely you don't want to. You want to avoid as much as possible in these cars, more than anything else. Across the line, 2 laps to go for our leaders.
Car down on pit lane. That looks to be Colton Lights in the number 8 car. That could be a penalty for track limits violations. It could be to fix crash damage. I wouldn't think you do that with 2 laps left, so I'm imagining
he
potentially
just
a drive-through
went in,
penalty.
came back out, so it definitely was a drive-through for too many incidents.
Interesting place to get incidents here. It's, I guess, kind of difficult without crashing, but I guess he figured it out tonight. All right, into the chicane, second to last time for Johansson. Jeff Arroyan right behind. His teammate Hefner has caught back up.
I'm curious how much Hefner is going to play into this again. Looking at a solid points tonight again in relation to Kurt Crump only up in his 6th place, so looking at a positive in that respect. I don't think he's even really close enough, and I don't think we'll bother making a move on his teammate here as they come out of the final corner. White flag in the air for Johansson.
One more time around Lime Rock Park for Jake Johansson in the Grip Hacks Engineering car. He's led from start to finish. We'll see if he can lead one more time around. Arroyan closes into the braking zone again. He's a lot better through this middle sector, but he needs to be better in the final one. And once you get to chicane, I don't think he can pass anywhere unless someone makes a big mistake. So Johansson's pretty much got this locked up if he doesn't mess this up.
Yeah, they come onto the back straightaway. Essentially the last passing opportunity down for Arroyan. Not really close enough.
Oh, Arroyan is close. That's pretty close. As close as he's been. Now what does he have to do? I mean, basically got to set up turn 7.
He's got to he would have to throw a Hail Mary into the final corner.
Oh, he's so close, though.
He lost a lot of time. Yeah, he's just pushing through the uphill. You know, down the hill they come out of the final quarter.
Jake Johansson leads from start to finish in race number 1 of the night. He'll go to victory lane. Teammates Arroyan and Hefner 2nd and 3rd. Behind him, though, we're not done battling deeper in the field. How about 14th? Brian Sohn and Thomas Cooper for position. Sohn had an issue on the opening lap, got involved in one of those accidents, and is trying to claw his way back forward. But for everybody else, they come on through. There's Nicholas Morelli and Isaac Snyder, 8th and 9th. Christian Ost in 10th. Eric Mickey rebounds for 11th after his spin. Corey Hart's a good run for him, as well as for his teammate Sartaj Mann.
Yeah, how about Ost for Christian Ost, too? Back from 23rd all the way to 10th in his 157 car. Really good run for Ost compared to his performance in the last few weeks, so I think he's going to be happy with that.
Here's a look at your race results. Johansson, the winner in the first race of the night. Jeff Arroyan 2nd, Zach Hefner 3rd, Carter Kundinger 4th, and Justin Johansson in 5th. Kurt Crump only 6th best, your points leader tonight. This is Zach Hefner's chance to close up a little bit, Finney. If we take a look at the points, I think Hefner's got a really good chance of reeling in Kurt Crump here.
Yeah, definitely. And it kind of switched back. Hefner, again, he had some really good opportunities last week at Road to Atlanta, just made way too many mistakes and threw away a lot of valuable points. So the gap went back into Crumb's favor, but again, still very close. And this is, again, looking like a week where potentially Hefner can take the lead back. I am curious, though, now that the order has been switched. Our 10th place driver, in fact, who is Christian Ost, he's going to be starting on pole. And I think, really, for him, this would be a great chance to see him back in victory lane.
Absolutely. So remember, We have 3 races tonight. The first one we qualify for. The second one, we do a top 10 invert from the results of race 1. So O's finished 10th. Now he'll start first. Second place in race 1 will start in 9th. Third place will start 8th, and so on and so forth. So race 3 is a 20 driver invert, and it's a 20-minute race, so a little bit different format for that last race tonight as we head off on our pace lap. So Isaac Snyder was incredibly quick in the last race. Had he not gone for a loop, he'd be top 5.
I was gonna say he would honestly, I think, without looking at through this list of cars, especially in the top 10, I would say probably the best one based on their position. I would say Isaac Snyder was running really well up until his mistake. So as long as he doesn't do the same like that, might have a shot at the win. He's just got to get past one car, and that's pole for this race.
So this is the cool thing about this format here is basically it forces you to be good all 3 races if you want to really do well in the points. It also forces you to have to get your head back in gear very, very quickly. You go from race 1 to race 2 in about 20 seconds after the race is over, so you have to get your mindset out of what you just did and change it, because now you're in a different place, you're around different drivers, you might not be aware of who's around you, especially if you're near the invert location, which in this place is 10th place. So Jake Johansson has Eric Mickey right behind him, and this is a duo we need to watch, because Eric Mickey is fast, so is Jake Johansson, and Jeff Roy and Hefner.
Yeah, I am intrigued on where they're going to end up in the order. A fairly hard place to pass around here. So really it's going to take the skill of these drivers to try to move themselves as many spots as possible. I think this might be the last chance they might have at getting the win here, because the next race are going to start only back in 20th for some of them.
Over the crest of the hill here as we come down the hill, we've lost one driver. Benjamin Pagula will not be starting this race. He would have started 18th. So, race number 2 of the night, another 15-minute race. It'll be a 15-lap race as well. Green flag flies. We're racing again at Lime Rock Park. So far, so good as we head through the first couple of corners here. Nicholas Morelli having some internet issues. We'll see if he gets that sorted. That's Lidke. Oh, that's going to be really dicey as he tries to get back on course. He will. Plenty of space. Everyone leaving lots of room. Good to see. Oh, right across the nose of Shabelski goes Thomas Cooper. He spins off course. He'll avoid the guardrails.
Meanwhile, our field heading down into the chicane for the first time. For the most part, pretty orderly. A lot more than race 1. They're not going to have any incident down here this time.
Dead stop for the drivers at the tail of the field here. Up front is what we're watching, though. Car wide, that's Morelli, Kurt Crum. Take a look at him as they head down the hill. Oh, really flirting with the edge. That curb isn't very wide there. It used to be taller in profile as well, so when you came off that corner, you could kind of lean on it a little bit. You can't do that anymore.
Yeah, you definitely can't. You go straight flying off the track if you attempt that, but Crum now looking at gaining some valuable points over Hefner. Hefner back in 6th. As you see Kurt Crum work around the outside, and Morelli can't get it done. Gonna have to fall back in line.
Oh, you might have a run. No, not quite. Got to be alongside as you head into that corner. Isaac Snyder putting pressure on Christian Ost for the race lead.
And Snyder showed some pretty solid pace, just made a mistake in race 1, putting him so far back down the order, but has a chance to turn that around here and potentially get a race when he's got to pass one more car. But Christian Ost, again, another driver that's pretty hungry for a good job tonight.
Jake Johansson, race 1 winner, right behind Eric Mickey and Jeff Arroyan. 2 drivers that he knows he needs to beat tonight if he wants to win these races. Gonna set himself up for turn 7. Didn't get a great run, got the right front tire up on the curb, so we'll have to try that one again. For the lead, here comes Snyder, right on the tailpipes of the 157. Ost overdrove a little bit. He's gonna leave the opening to the inside lane. Isaac Snyder can't quite fit in there, but he's putting pressure on.
Oh, and gets some grass there. You gotta be careful of the grass, especially in this car. It does horrible job for the traction control. It gets it confused pretty well. Looking at Kundiger's dropped back a few spots, was running in 7th.
He had some contact with some fellow competitors here. Whoa, that was
he was avoiding.
Oh, yeah. And Arroyan just sailed it in there and got into the side of Carter Kundinger, so some damage there. As they head through the chicane, he's dropped all the way down to 13th place. Kurt Crum, the points leader. Crash! He gets drilled by, I think that was the, man.
Oh, God. And it's good.
Oh, my goodness.
And they're still crashing.
Oh, and Mickey's in it.
They're trying to outdo themselves from Road Atlanta.
Oh, man.
Which also happened in race 2, ironically.
That was the points leader, Kurt Crum. What happened to him here? How did he get himself in this position? Got the curb on exit, slams the wall, and then right here is where he's going to get just absolutely blitzed into the sky by one of the other cars.
Yeah, and really, in defense of the drivers, it's a blind crest up the hill.
Trying to see what car that, I think it was Corey Hart's that went for a tumble.
Yeah.
Wow.
Tumble he did, my. Let's ride on board, but before.
Oh my goodness. Can I watch this in slow motion at least before we. The camera can't even look at me so high. Oh man.
Oof.
Please get the new damage model on
I
this car.
know, that would have been awesome. There would have just been parts flying.
All right, what were you looking at? You want to ride on board with who?
Yeah, I wanted to ride on board with Hartz just to kind of get a look at what he was able to see or lack thereof up the hill. You can see there's nothing here. Comes over the hill.
Oh, and just, he tried to miss it. Wow. Oh, that's gonna. Oh man, I hope. Oh, I'm sick. Okay. All right, we're done.
Sky ground. Sky ground. Sky ground.
Oh my goodness. All right, well, all that's been going on. We haven't seen a whole lot of changes in position. It's still up front. It's Christian Oss, Isaac Snyder, Nicholas Morelli, Justin Johansson, and more. We've thinned out the field quite significantly. Lost about 8 or 9 cars in that fight.
And Hafner, I think, bring a little bit of a slight relief. His major competitor really suffering all the way back in 18th position. Now he just has to really just make it to the end of the race in one piece. Although he's definitely going to try to get as many spots as he can. He's working on Justin Johansson up ahead in the 119 WeatherTech Ferrari.
Will he take a look here into turn 1 and try to drive up the inside? There's a lapper there. That's not going to work. Johansson's going to miss the corner, and that'll let Hafner run through.
I was going to say that was a very deep entry for him, and you saw Johansson brake carefully to make the corner.
Christian Oss now beginning to stretch out his lead. We haven't seen him go to victory lane in a while, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't recall if he got a win last season that we did not cover. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the last time we seen him go to victory lane at all in some TV, was that Watkins Glen? I think that might have been.
It might be. That was a long time ago. Maybe if you can pull that up, we can take a look. But it's been certainly at least a little while since we've seen Christian Oss in victory lane. It would be good to see him go back to it. Morelli now has Eric Mickey in behind him. That's that blue Bombshell Racing Team car as he sets up to get by the 714, and right in front of him is the 20th place Corey Hartz, who has gotten his car back on track.
Ooh, and big checkup here holding up Morelli and Mickey in behind.
Let's go driver's right to go around him on the outside in turn 3. He'll do that. This time through will be halfway for him. Sartaj Maan is off, and I believe this is turn number 1. Yes, it is. And he just gets in here a little bit hot. Let's take a look. Gets off into the braking zone and was a little bit late. These cars are a little sideways. If the mid-engine layout makes them kind of spin like a top if you charge the corner too hard. That's what happened for the 49, so he'll get back rolling. Meanwhile, for 5th, Morelli still has Eric Mickey breathing down his neck. Halfway for the race leader.
Yeah, and actually, correction for Oss. He actually didn't win at Watkins Glen. That was Mickey that won.
Oh, it was Mickey.
Yeah, but he finished within thousandths to Mickey.
Well, that doesn't count.
It was really close between them.
Second only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades. I think that's what they say.
Yeah, he did really well. He won at he has 3 wins in his career at SCRS Ferrari. He has a win at Monza. That was only back in season 3. That was the first season we covered.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah. I was by myself. You were.
Oh, that's why I don't remember
the
that.
storm.
Yeah.
This is like a throwback.
Yeah,
that was like the 5th race that we ever did.
Yeah, he also had
he
also won at Brands Hatch, and I think that was the race where we had the top 4 get taken out because of the incident DQ.
It's been
and then it was a little while later, and then his last win was also at Brands Hatch, but in August 2019.
Wow,
of last season.
Okay, so there's been victory lane a couple times then. Well, Eric Mickey has gotten around Nicholas Morelli in the 714. As we complete lap number 8 for these drivers. Into turn 1, Morelli still on the tailpipes of the 88. He's got Jake Johansson tucked in right behind. And you see Morelli protecting. And that's the more traditional line. You see Mickey running to track out a little bit more before turn 3. It's such a weird corner though, because it's slightly off camber, so you get all the way to driver's right to try to arc it in, and sometimes if you miss the arc, you miss that corner by a mile.
Yeah. Down into the chicane.
Now up the hill, using every bit of the 550 horses.
Caught the anti-cut curve and sent the car out wide, and here comes Jansen up the inside.
Oh, it's going to be tight. Morelli's going to run wide at the exit, and they're going to run down the hill side by side. They're going to have to get this sorted out before they get to turn 7. They won't.
Morelli off the track.
Oh, he saved it. Wow. Kept it on course. That's not what I would have done, but now here's Jeff Royan taking a look at Jake Johansson.
Yeah, he gave him a lot of time, though, to keep the car on the pavement, and now Hefner going to send it down into turn 1.
It's Royan there in the 2-3.
Oh, sorry.
But there was a lap car popping out of the pits right when that was happening, so that got tense there for a moment. Now the crossover into turn 3, so Royan back to 6th, and Johansson loses a spot back to 7th. Quite done yet, though. Royan's still going to deal with Johansson in one of the strongest parts of the racetrack. Now the roles are reversed. Oh no, trouble for the leader. He's going through to 2nd.
Something happened this lap, I imagine, that sent him far back. And how about for Hefner here looking to get a win? I'm sure he doesn't want to finish in 3rd again for the 2nd race in a row.
Lights flashing, 5 laps to go for the race leader. And it's now Isaac Snyder. So Ost had an issue. Yeah, it slowed him down about a second. I would have bet that it was down in the chicane. So Zachary Hefner closes up for 2nd. Now 1, 2, 3 all lined up. Justin Johansson's not too far out of this either.
Yeah, I think he is really only shot, though, potentially getting the win is if one of these 3 guys make a mistake. Kind of trying to drive off away from Christian Ost. I think his big concern is Hefner in the 51. Hefner's got some really solid pace around here.
He better run, because as soon as Hefner gets around this 157, he's only going to have 4 laps to get there, but Hefner is good, and he'll take those 4 laps and do something with it.
Hill for these 3 drivers.
Justin Johansson, keep an eye on the lap times as they come on through this time.
Lap before, Hefner was faster by a few tenths a second. This time through, he was actually the slowest of the top 3.
Following in tightly behind can give you some aero wash off the lead car, so maybe that's a concern for Zachary Hefner. 4 laps to go. Christian Ost now going slightly defensive into turn 3.
And Hefner taking that advantage here to take a more aggressive line to just set him up here for the back straight. Ooh, was catching some grass. Here comes Hefner with a run up the inside.
I wonder if that's what he did the previous lap as well.
Could be.
Oh, tight side by side through the chicane, and Hefner goes on through. Ost has to lift big time. Oh, big jump over the curb there. And that's going to give Isaac Snyder 3 laps to hold off the 51 of Hefner, which is not going to be an easy task.
Yeah, it's going to be really, really hard to do here now that Hefner's got essentially clean air up back to the 333.
There's the battle for the lead. 3 laps to go. Be perfect. He can't pass you if you don't make a mistake.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the difficulty level of this racetrack.
He's got a little bit of time to play with it. Again, Hefner, I imagine, going to close that up back to his back bumper, but you know, it's going to take him maybe a lap or 2 to get there. The gap being a little under a second.
Will he gain time? That's the other question. Now Ost is having to hold on to 3rd from Justin Johansson. This is very quickly slipping away from Christian Ost's fingers here as they head up the uphill.
Oh yeah, a great line for Justin Johansson up through the hill, but nowhere to go really at this part of the track. Thought about having a look up the inside here. Back down the hill, out of the final quarter. Now we're going to see really where that 119 is going to show some speed. No!
That had to lift there for a second. Meanwhile, 2 laps to go for the race leader, Snyder. That time, Hefner was 3 tenths better. So we will have a battle for the lead here if he continues to do that. But he's only there if he does that. He needs to be better than that if he wants to get a chance at the race lead and the race win.
Yeah, that's going to be a hard thing to do. Easier said than done. Now you see Mickey in the battle. This is that battle for 3rd. We're watching with Ost up ahead. Now, Johansson under attack from the 88 of Mickey.
Drew Lidke's gone around back in 11th place. He's slipping down the order slightly as we head up the uphill. This battle right now still for 3rd. Ost, Johansson, and Eric Mickey. Half a second now between the 2 leaders as they come down the hill. There's some lap traffic. That is Andrew Mickey. We saw him pull out of the way in race 1. I expect he'll do something similar here. Oh, it looks like he's going to stay in line. White flag in the air for Isaac Snyder. He was probably hoping that the 86 would pull over. He didn't. Going to get really dicey into turn 1. Look at Hefner close up. Big send down into the first corner. That was a very important slide there.
I think he was hoping that Snyder would panic from that. And now you see, actually, as we just pull away from that, Mickey looked like he was going to give the spot to Snyder.
Great battle for 3rd place now. Make it 4th. Oh, there goes Eric Mickey off, or Andrew Mickey off track there. So now it's Ost. He's actually driven away slightly. This is for fourth. Justin Johansson, Eric Mickey. Up at the front of the field, Zachary Hefner is there. Here he comes up to driver's right. Now swings back to driver's left. Back to driver's right for turn 6. Shows the nose to the inside. Can't get it done. Snyder hangs on. Checkered flag waving here at Lime Rock. And a valiant effort by Zachary Hefner, but he will not have enough time to get it done. Checkered flag for Isaac Snyder. He gets his first win in SCRS Ferrari Challenge at Lime Rock Park. Behind him, Johansson, Mickey, and a Royan drag race in the line for these drivers. Jake Johansson's here, steps out of line to the line. 6th, 7th, 8th for those drivers, Royan Johansson, Nicholas Morelli.
And I'm amazed by Snyder, the fact that he, the move he made to sweep out for the right-hander at the top of the hill. I thought he opened up the door for Hefner, and Hefner was going to make the pass there, but he took the line extremely aggressively and just slammed the door shut in front of the 51.
I love that he did that because he gave Hefner a place to put the nose, and he dared Hefner to go in there. And Hefner, in his championship battle, he can't risk a penalty right now. And you don't want to risk something that's that close. So he gave him the line, but Hefner ultimately decided it's too dangerous to stay in there. He backed out, and Snyder was able to drive away. Expert driving to not compromise his line out of turn number 6, which would have given him a better run onto the front straight for Hefner. So I like what he did. It was great driving by Isaac Snyder, and congratulations to him on his first SCRS Ferrari Challenge victory. Final race of the night here. We're going to have about a 6 to 7 minute break. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. It'll be about 6 or 7 minutes. We'll be back for race number 3.
Time trials is a 2-day event typically for our national events. It's 2 20-minute sessions each day with a track sprint added in, which is, it starts with a standing start, flying finish, so it's a lot like a hill climb. You've got autocrossers out here, you got road racers out here. It doesn't really matter what your background is, you're gonna find a home here that's pretty rad.
It's a lot of fun, it's a lot of speed, it's safe, and it's a great group of people, and it's very well organized. The organizers really have it running like a top now. Everything from getting transponders on the cars, getting them gridded, getting them out on track safely, and making sure that everybody has a good time.
You have to learn the track, you have to know the track, you have to know how your car's gonna behave on track, because really what a time trial is a qualifying lap. I always say if you get 2 solid laps in, that's perfect, because once you do 2 laps on street tires, you're gonna burn them down. We don't grid by class, we actually grid by experience level. So you'll be with like individuals with like skill levels and like experience, and that's part of what makes this program awesome and an easy entry to get into this kind of thing.
The way the competition is structured, the way the coaching hierarchy is structured to where every group gets a coach and everybody's working on what they're doing every session, it makes it really easy to get new people into it, and that's what this is all about. I particularly like time trials because the barrier to entry is so much lower than like road racing. The level of build quality, especially at time trial nationals like the sport class, is so incredible to where you can show up with a stock car and be competitive because that's what the class is built around. The SCCA, they have a plan, they work the plan, and they pull off some big events, and it's really impressive to see.
Once you get involved with the SCCA time trials and you get a license and you move up the rank, you get up to advanced, then you can move on. If you wanted to dig deeper and get really into time trials, there's other programs out there that they want to see that license to know where you're at and that you're good enough to run. So it's a great place to start, but it's also a great place to blossom and then move on and move up the ranks. Just like road racing, you start as an amateur and you move up to professional. If you've never done it before, just come out and experience it, because the way we set up our time trials, it's perfect for the beginner. We've had people who have never done a track day come out and run with us and have a blast. And I mean, come on, driving 10 cents on a road course, how can you beat that?
So far tonight, we've seen 2 races in SCRS Ferrari Challenge round number 11. It's time for the final race of the evening here from this 1-mile bull ring in Lakeville, Connecticut. Welcome back to Sim TV. My name's Kyle Heyer, joined by Finney and Dacuna. What will be our final race of the night, 20 minutes long. We're going to invert the top 20 from race number 2. That's going to put our eventual winner from race 2, Isaac Snyder, all the way back in 20th position, so on and so forth. We've seen some relatively clean racing other than that big pileup out of the chicane in race 2. Your expectations, your guesses at what's going to happen in race number 3.
I think lap 1 into the chicane will be pretty interesting. Again, having quite a few of the faster guys in the back. They might be a little bit more aggressive making their way to the front. They're definitely going to use that chicane to their advantage, trying to make up a few spots here and there. Turn 1, 2, I think might also be fairly interesting. Again, another great passing opportunity, especially on the start too. You can make up spots. You can also lose a lot of spots if, you know, you see guys get 3 wide. You really can't do 3 wide down into turn 1. That's a little bit optimistic, but we'll see how these guys handle it. We'll see what moves get pulled when we start this third race. One thing that will be interesting though is for Kurt Crum. He finished, I'm not sure exactly where, but way far down the order. If he finished in the top 20 and just inside of it, I think he'll be starting somewhere towards the front, so that could be a good chance for him to at least pick up some decent amount of points out of tonight.
Well, I disagree with one thing you said. You said that you can't do 3 wide into turn 1. Oh, you definitely can.
Oh, you can,
Not
but someone's going to die. I was going to say, someone's going to get punted off into the grass. I think if you do that, yeah.
But it might not go very
it can
well.
be. It's physically possible. It's not, you know, really realistic for these drivers, but we'll see what happens.
So warm-up is complete for our final race of the evening in round number 11. Remember, join us tomorrow night right here at about 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the DC Region SCCA iRacing League, teaming up with another group. They'll be running 2 different races at New Jersey Motorsports Park. That's going to be a fun one tomorrow. We don't run New Jersey a lot. I think the only time we've ever run it is for the DC SCCA. So it'll be our, I think, our third or fourth trip there tomorrow night at 8. Saturday will just be the Hoosier SCCA Esports Super Tour. That will be from Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas. You have to go to the SCCA's YouTube channel to find us there. I'll be commentating the Spec Racer Ford race with Greg Ginsburg from the SCCA. And then I'll be behind the scenes just clicking the buttons and moving the cameras around for the subsequent races that evening. We'll head down to the racetrack. Pole sitter will be Johnny Bell, the number 72, that beautiful attrition livery with the silver and the orange and black. Then Sartaj Maan in the 49. He was one of the drivers involved in that collision in race 2. Corey Hart's another one of those drivers involved in that big pile-up. Thomas Cooper, Colton Lights, Andrew Mickey, Kurt Crump, Ben Shout, and more. Look at these drivers up at the front with the highlighter yellow paint schemes. All 3 of them inside the top 5 for the start of this one. We'll see if they can hang on to a couple of those top 5 spots here in this race.
So an already driver dropping to the back. I believe it's Johnny Bell. Not sure that's by request of an EOL. Imagine it might be.
Either way, he'll start from the back, and the entire row will move up. That will put Corey Hartz and Sartaj Maan on the front row. So teammates going to share up front in their Peak Performance Motorsports team cars. Nice to see some Pirelli logos on the
and
rear
notably
bumpers.
again, look who's right in behind in that 3rd row. There is Kurt Crum. He'll be starting scheduled in 7th. I think it's been moved up to 5th.
Yeah, because of the leader dropping back, so he'll move up 2 spots. Going to be a really interesting one. Take a look at the weather. It's changed a little bit. It's 75, now 78, so a touch warmer on the racetrack surface as we head to the uphill.
It looks
a lot
like,
sunnier, though.
Yeah, I was going to say, it looks like we're definitely late in the day. It's definitely not still 6, probably around 7 or 8 in the morning.
Yeah, I don't think the timer works very well with the heat racing format. I think it kind of breaks. But well, now we're heading through the far side of the course, turns 6 and 7. This is a crucial corner. Your last opportunity to build a run, to take it through turn 7 and have a run at the lead. We saw Hefner have a run and not really be able to go anywhere with it. 20 minutes on the board for this final race of the night. It'll be a 20-lap race as we come on through the final corner. Pace car is going to peel off. Johnny Bell has dropped to the tail, so Sartaj Maan and Corey Hartz are your pole sitters for this race. Green flag flies racing at Lime Rock for the final race of the night in SCRS Ferrari Challenge round number 11. The 3 team cars lead the way down to the first corner.
Fairly orderly start down into turn 1, but yeah, these 3 team cars all the way in the front there, enjoying 1, 2, 3 at the moment. We'll see how long that stays. They got Kurt Crum lined up immediately up in 4th place, trying to change that.
No Nose to tail now, and this first run into the chicane is going to be a very telling moment. Looking through
the grass on the back, straight away. Whoa!
Gets it woed up just in time for the chicane. Going to dive up underneath. That is Nicholas Morelli, car off. Oh no, there goes around Brian So. That's Hefner involved, and Jake Johansson.
Oh, and Royan got around Johansson, also getting sideways with Hefner up a little bit further up.
That's a big deal for Jeff Royan, and Eric Mickey is also involved in the 88 car, so that's a big one at the front. Meanwhile, Andrew Mickey has Carter Kundinger, who is outside as we head down to turn 1 for the second time.
Go deep in the brakes. Carter Kundinger going to send it in deeper on the outside, trying to pinch that 86 to the apex, but looks like Mickey's going to hold on to the spot for now.
Kundinger wants back by, looks to driver's right. Here comes Morelli up the inside lane. Ooh, thought about diving up under there, couldn't do it.
Got squeezed out of there by the two.
Oh, bad exit. Oh, Morelli! Oh, inches from the tire wall. He'll lose it, and around he goes.
That's what I was talking about, the traction control. Once you get in the grass, you try to rejoin back into the pavement. It's very hard to do without spinning out. Unfortunately for Morelli, spun out. It looks like he's going to call it a night with that.
Kurt Crum up to second place on Sartaj Mount. He's through, and now going to set his sights on Corey Hartz in the 57. Run, because Kurt Crum is coming.
Cool, and again, this is Crum's chance to get some really solid points, especially now with Hefner. Hefner buried all the way down the order in 13th, actually not as bad as I thought, but still a lot lower than he would like. They're in behind, man, and Light's teammates getting close to each other for third.
Isaac Snyder, he was your race 2 winner, 20th to 11th. He's got a lot of pace tonight and continues to show that, but Jake Johansson, who's got a little bit of damage from that dust up in the chicane, 14th to 12th.
He had door-to-door contact with Hefner as they were heading up through the S's. I thought it was going to get a lot worse for them, but other than that door-to-door contact, wasn't anything else to talk about.
Oh, Kurt Crum has already gone through.
Wow, that was quick.
Yeah, I think Corey Hart's messed up the chicane there, and that's going to let him on through. And here comes Thomas Cooper in the 584. Hasn't had much of a season to talk about, but here he has knocked on the door of a 4th place result. If he can just get by Colton Lights, who bobbles out of turn 7. Behind him, a couple cars off. Mickey and Lidkey both going for a ride through the grass.
Yeah, and Mickey going to lose a lot of time. Here comes on by Ben Shout, and the 66 is going to dive up the inside.
Whoa, a little bit of contact there. Shabelsky's going to follow on through and get by Mickey as well.
So I was going to say thank you very much for that. Take that spot away from the 86 and hold on to it.
Rough him up, elbows out, Lime Rock Park, sports car racing. Crum can just set his sights on the clear racetrack in front.
And now for him, I think it's just going to be a matter of not making a mistake. I don't think really any of the next 4 guys in behind that can really hold a candle to his pace you've seen in other races. And even tonight, he's already pulling away by a decent amount over Hartz.
There's Ben Shout up to 8th place in the 66 car. Well, he started 8th, still hangs on 8th. Brian Shabelsky, however, is up 1 spot and wants another one.
Looking to be a little bit quicker than the 66 and Ben Shout. Coming through the final corner. Now going to try to get a run on the front straightaway.
You have to be a little bit close to this, within a car length or maybe a half a car length to have a good run into the first corner. Up in front, side-by-side battle for 5th. That's Carter Kundinger and Thomas Cooper.
And side-by-side almost drawing each other through the first 2 corners. Now into turn 3. Ooh, Shout around. Just as we pull away from that.
Yeah, just got up on the curb and straddled it, and around he went. Oh, got a bit of a push from Shabelsky. Andrew Mickey has also gone off just now. And back up to the battle here. Kundinger and Cooper still side by side now. Cooper will have to give that spot to the 2, and Lidkey slots in behind. He wants a shot at him.
Yeah, you really see how awkward that chicane is for the driver on the outside. Cooper's still able to hold on to the spot from Lidkey, who had to pretty much park it down through there.
So, Kurt Crum leads the way as we complete lap number 5, so we're about a quarter of the way through this race. And behind him, Thomas Cooper and Lidkey now, side by side into turn number 1. Through goes Lidkey.
Oh, not quite yet. Lidkey goes out wide. It opens up the door back on the inside for Cooper.
Oh, he got a great run off using that curb to help rotate the car.
Get clear, and that was the key thing there. Now here comes Lidkey back on the inside into 3. Will clear by turn 4.
And now at turn 4 is such a crucial corner. You want to be set up on driver's left, but because he was on the other side of the track, wasn't able to set it up just right behind him. Isaac Snyder and Jake Johansson, and in farther, there's Brian Shabelsky and Zach Hefner. And Hefner's on through even with all that damage he collected in that incident on the opening lap.
see Robert Rattray and Christian O's lined up in behind in 12th and 13th position.
Yeah, night to forget for Robert Rattray, I think. That car is beautiful, but it has not really been in the position he wants. Sartaj Mod around in the front straightaway, going to do an excellent job of getting off the track, but let's go back and see exactly what happened. Was there a teammate involved here, maybe?
I think he was involved, but I think, man, this initial part of it, I think just got loose.
Got the curb there and started to get sideways and corrects. Oh, his teammate did a great job.
Yeah, let's right on board. That was Colton Lights in the 8 in behind.
Whoa, did touch him, but it was very slight. Also just saw that I believe Brian Chmielewski had an issue. Here's a look at what happened to him.
Oh, went off into the grass. Oh, in the final corner here.
Right here, going to run wide, I think. Catch the grass, and yep.
Oh, man. Oh.
Got the inside wall. That's a very common issue at the exit of turn 7 there. Again, they reprofiled that curbing with the repave, and it made it a lot flatter. Doesn't catch the car so easily. Here's for a podium spot. Kundinger up the inside on Colton Lights, and he's through almost.
Not quite yet. Lights trying to pinch that 2 car down, but Kundinger's going to force that car past in turn 2, and will clear.
Jeff Arroyan and Eric Mickey trading spots. Arroyan, remember, he was all the way at the back of this field after that opening lap incident. He's gained all the way up to 13th place now, passing Eric Mickey's 88 Bombshell Racing Team car.
Yeah, got moved around quite a bit, but has found his way back up through the order. Moved up 2 spots.
On the other side of the track, Thomas Cooper and Jake Johansson nose to tail as they snake up the S's.
Yeah, he's holding, he has a train of cars right behind there. You see Johansson kind of flashing the lights, hoping that he'll let him on by, especially Hefner in behind as well. Whoa, and here comes Johansson. Does he make a look up the inside? No, we'll wait for the straightaway.
Oh, a lot of curb by Cooper. He's going to get loose. Here comes Jake Johansson. Race 1 winner to driver's right. They're going to run down the front straight side by side.
Deep dive for Johansson into turn 1. Cooper going to run a decent line on the outside lane, but not enough to hold the spot.
Into turn 3 now. Look at how tight Johansson was to the left edge of the racetrack. Now for second, Corey Hartz has a rear mirror full of Carter Kundinger.
Really solid run for Kundinger here up through the chicane. Gonna have a look here to the inside.
Yeah, he'll make that look pretty easy. No, not quite. Look at her. Oh, that was a little bit of a touch there. And now he clears him.
That could have been a lot worse.
Thomas Cooper. Oh, he's having a big struggle right now. Through goes Rattray and Hefner. Puts Cooper back to 10th. He was 5th only a couple minutes ago. Right behind him, Ost, Johansson, and Jeff Arroyan are all here together. Here comes Hefner, or Rattray rather, on Hefner into turn number 1. Thomas Cooper gets past Mike Ost, and up the inside comes Justin Johansson. And look at Ost with a run to the inside of Rattray for turn 3.
Yeah, a lot of battling going on here. A big scrap in the midfield. Ost trying to work around Rattray on the outside into turn 4.
Oh, that was tight.
And a great run for Ost. Wow. Fantastic pass, and here comes Justin Johansson. Ost caught him in contact with Rattray. They somehow don't wreck. That was very close to being one, though.
Colton Lights getting passed by Drew Lidke, not quite. Lidke in the 21, working over Colton Lights. This team still hanging on. Corey Hartz and Lights both still inside the top 5. They've only lost one of their drivers. That was Sartaj Bond back in 22nd.
Doing a very defensive line for... Oh, I thought he was going to actually take that line down to turn 1. He definitely don't want to go in that shallow, but was just trying to get out of the draft for the 21.
Robert Rattray to the inside of Justin Johansson. Johansson with a little bit of a right side damage to the right front of that car. Not sure where he got that.
Oh, that's the contact he got on the back straightaway with Rattray.
I was looking at the timing screen when that happened, so I didn't see how severe it was. I wish I had more sets of eyes to be useful for situations like that.
His car went airborne at least.
Oh, wow, okay.
That's what I was amazed that he didn't go flying off into the pond behind the straightaway.
Yeah, Thomas Cooper had such a good run starting tonight, up in 4th, but he's just continued to drop, and now with some damage on the right front of that car. He does have now Jeff Arroyan behind him. Brian Sohn, real tight through the chicane. He's all the way down to 25 miles an hour. I feel like you're crawling through there.
Yeah, especially when when you guys go side by side through there, you really have to bring the car almost to a dead stop to make it through in one piece. Lidke gonna go very wide, flirting with the track edge.
Look at Isaac Snyder. He's having a spectacular night. 20th to 6th. Where's this pace coming from? He's flying right now.
Yeah, he's done a really solid job here in comparison to other tracks we've seen him run at.
Here he comes. This is for 5th. back out and take a run up the S's. So this time through, we're 12 laps complete of the 20 we have to run. Jumping down throughout the rest of the field, there's Robert Rattray and Justin Johansson. This is for 10th.
Rattray had a whole run through that corner here. Has not got a rear camera, I guess, full. In this case, full of Johansson. Going to make a move up the inside.
Well, that's going to be really tight as they get down in here. Johansson going to take driver's right, and Rattray's going to leave him the spot. I'm not sure if he was conceding that or if Johansson just made it look that easy.
Johansson inside the, going to just break inside the top 10 here.
Lidke and Snyder. This is for 5th spot still. Snyder of the inside. He turns Lidke around, and he gets stuck on the curb, and so does Snyder. He gets turned around right in the middle of the track, and just like that, what was such a good night is going to go away in a cloud of smoke.
Both these guys, you can see on the windshield that car was running in 6th. He's actually going to go around again as he tried to get the car back rolling.
Got in too deep and wasn't able to back out of this. Just gets tagged around again. I think he realizes a little bit too late that that was going to be a mistake. I don't know. What's your opinion? Was he in too deep, or did the 21 need to leave him space there?
I think he was in too deep here. Yeah, he was.
Yeah, that's pretty deep. Mistakes happen, and it's such a shame because he was having such a good race, but he'll end this race in the pits.
And that's kind of one of those incidents, you know. Again, it's really hard to catch you when you're in the moment, but it could have been avoided if he took the uphill chicane. But hindsight is 20/20. Unfortunately for him too, it's going to put him way down the order.
All right, well, the teammates are all back together. One of them is Sartaj Bani. He's 21st, 2 laps down, but still running together regardless.
Yeah, I don't know if they're running like this to take a team photo or something, but great run for these guys.
It'd be a little bit better if Mon hadn't spun around earlier in the race, but he's back out there. They can take all the photos they want now. They're 3rd, 4th, and 21st right now. There's Rattray and Jeff Arroyan, nose to tail here. This is for 9th. Oh, Jeff Arroyan's off.
And also Justin Johansson as well.
Or I think it was just Johansson. Excuse me. He's got into a bobble there, and off he went. It's so easy to lose control of this car down in this corner when you're coming in so hot. Yeah, he fought it for a bit, but
I think tried to slow the car down too aggressively, and I think they just brought the back end around on him. He's going to fall back into 11th place.
5 laps to go for the race leader. How about for 8th place? Rattray and Arroyan continue their battle.
Ryan trying to build up a run on Rattray. Battle for 8th place.
Run into turn 1. Up the road, you see Hefner working over. I believe that's one of the highlighter yellow cars. And Arroyan, look how much he gains into turn 3.
Really for all these drivers too, taking different lines. Rattray going to catch some grass on the exit of 4. Going to allow Arroyan to get on by.
Arroyan moves his way up into 8th place. Jake Johansson closing in on Colton Lights and Corey Hart. So these guys at least still have a podium right now. We'll see if they can hang on to at least that, but Johansson's coming quick.
Yeah, I don't think so. Johansson, again, probably arguably the fastest driver in the race, just purely on pace alone. Did a really solid job in the first 2 races, and even now to bring himself back up from the back of the grid.
Lap 17 of 20. We're getting down to the very end of this race. Crum out front. Took him only a few laps to get there. Has been the dominant car since then. And Carter Kundinger in a second.
7.4 second lead over Kundinger too, so it was a really impressive performance with the 87. Really give him a boost back in the right direction. Here comes Johansson up the inside.
Well done. They left each other plenty of space there. Excellent racing there by Colton Lights. Oh, man.
Yeah, but that poor run for Johansson, that's opened up the door for Hefner trying to take advantage.
Now, I know that seems like it was a huge loss for Colton Lights, and it certainly was, but to run through there side by side and not have any kind of contact, that was really, really impressive racing for both Jake Johansson and Colton Lights. Big props to those drivers.
Also,
and Colton Lights lost spots in the process, so even more props to him.
Also, just look at the state of Hefner's car. That car is damaged both in the rear and the front, but still running really strong in the top 5.
Doesn't matter. Beautiful car in victory lane, although he's not quite going to get there tonight.
But definitely we'll be looking at a top 5 as long as he doesn't make an error here in the last 3 laps of this race.
Christian Ost, 18th to 7th. This is a great drive for him as well in the 157. He might be able to get a top 5 here with Hafner tucked in behind Jake Johansson. These guys have a high possibility of getting together. Johansson missed. Oh, Lights missed the corner as well. Look at Ost slipping through there. That was excellent.
Yeah, some great driving from Ost. It's probably one of the best drives he's had in a long time.
Great driving by all these drivers in this area. I probably shouldn't speak too soon, though, with them running this close. 2 laps to go for the race leader as these guys fight for about 6th through 9th. Here comes Rattray. He's going to have a huge head of steam here. Here he comes. 1, and now middle 3 wide in the front straight. He said they couldn't do it. Well, they got it sorted before turn 1, and here comes Eric Mickey as well.
Rattray gonna I thought he was gonna get on by. Had to check up quite a bit going into turn 2. That's allowed Royan to sneak on by, then Rattray, and then Mickey.
Ryan Soanes had an issue down in the chicane. I think there was a multi-car accident, so let's go back and check it out. It was Ben Shout in the 66, Soane in the 03, and runs down in here, and Shout, looked like he was maybe a little slow, but Soane got into the back of him there and parked. Up in the front, though, for Kurt Crum. White flag is in the air one more time around to kind of gather something out of this night. Wasn't the most consistent of evenings for him, but he has run very solidly in race 3.
Definitely at least some consolidation for him. We look now at Eric Mickey.
Consolidation's like...
Oh, yeah, sorry. Consolation.
Consolidation. Is he selling his house and I don't know. I think that's another word. It starts with a C. I don't know. I can't English right now. For Kurt Crum, he doesn't need English because he's a race car driver and he's out front. And down the hill for the final time, Kurt Crum, the Bombshell Racing Team 87, will grab some points and a whole lot of them. He wins race 3 from Lime Rock Park by 7 seconds over Carter Kundinger, who's returned to SCRS Ferrari Challenger for missing Road Atlanta. Will bring him a 2nd place result. Here's Corey Hartz. All the way back in 3rd place, Johansson right behind him, and Hart started this race in 3rd. He will finish there as well. Good run for him in the 57.
Yeah, really solid run from him indeed. You see Johansson try to have a cheeky look up the inside, and not going to be enough. He's going to settle for 4th. Hafner in 5th. These guys coming across the line.
That was for 8th. Rattray gets it. Mickey 9th. Colton Lights finishes in 10th. Johansson in 11th. That. Here's a look at your race results. Another really solid night of action. Kurt Crum gets himself a victory. Another one on the season. Some really solid racing in that 3rd race. I think that was the most competitive through the midfield. We did see a couple accidents, especially for the 333 of Isaac Snyder. Had such a good run going and kind of took it away from himself there at the end.
Absolutely, and the really solid runs for some drivers, especially again Christian Ost, going to finish in 6th. Really solid run for him tonight, and I think he's going to be happy with his performance. Really, in all 3 races for that 157.
All right, we'll step away for just a minute. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with driver interviews from our race winners tonight. Stay with us. Welcome back live to Sim TV and SCRS Ferrari Challenge, round number 11 from Lime Rock Park. We're here now with our third place finisher in the final race of the night. That is driver Corey Hartz. Corey, tonight you started in third around all your teammates, but you're the only one to hang on for a podium result. Walk us through your night and especially that third race where you came home in third.
Yeah, well, the first race was good. I had internet issues early on, so I didn't really get a good qualifying lap in. So I started near the back, but I was able to make up quite a few positions in the first race. I think I got up to 12th. Second race wasn't great. Ended up getting involved in the big pileup, went flying in the air. But third race, I ended up putting me in 19th, I think. No, 18th. I don't know, one of those positions. But then, was it Johnny Bell? I think he got an EOL. So that put me in the front position, and then I was on Discord with my teammates so we could kind of coordinate the start. And both of them had some issues, and I was just the one that was able to stay up front.
It seemed like Lime Rock tonight was pretty elbows out, especially through the midfield, but that third race seemed very clean from your perspective. How difficult was it to make passes tonight, and was it a challenge to pass down there in the chicane on the backside of the course?
Yeah, I tend to brake earlier than most drivers, but I kind of am smoother through the corners usually. So there were a lot of drivers who almost got into the back of me going into the chicane. So I didn't really end up passing many people there. I don't know if I passed many people for position when it wasn't like just passing by a crash. So
Corey, it was a really strong run, a podium result for you in race number 3. Congratulations. We'll see you next week at Indianapolis.
Yep. Thank you. Y'all do a great job with the broadcast.
Thanks, Corey. We'll see you later. Gone now to our race 2 winner, Isaac Snyder. Hey, Isaac, sorry to pull you from your conversation there, but we're here to celebrate. Race win for you in race number 2. What a night for you. Walk us through race 2 and then the race 3 battle you had with it kind of ended up going the wrong way for you.
Oh, well, I mean, race 2, it started out second. I was like, oh, okay. And Christian was in front of me, and I knew he was quick. Especially on the start, he was quick. On cold tires, he's quick. But I was noticing he was making a few mistakes here and there and again in the chicane and in the last turn. But yeah, I just kind of kept my head down, stayed off the grass and all that. Just kind of, whenever he messed up, I would just kind of scooch by. And then the last 2 laps, I was a bit worried that I think it was Kundinger behind me, just passing me. So I went a little bit defensive on that. And then that last race, I've missed so many accidents at the beginning there. And then, yeah, I was trying to defend from Jake behind me, and then kind of took it too deep and took Drew out.
So obviously a high note tonight in the middle of the evening, but next week we head to the Indianapolis road course, a lot different, a lot larger. How do you feel like you're going to perform out there at the Indy road course?
To be honest, I haven't driven that course yet, so it's going to take a little practice to get used to. I've been focusing on the Indy 500 fix this week, so I'm going to have to get to know that track. This car will be pretty interesting, especially on some of the faster corners. Back's going to want to step out.
Isaac, nice job. Congratulations on night. We'll see you next week. Have a good one.
Thank you. You too.
Thanks. Jake Johansson won race number 1, had to really drive hard to do it. Jake, congratulations on that run. Seemed like races 2 and 3 had lots of good battles, but couldn't quite get back up to the top step of the podium. Take me through your night.
Hi, thanks. Yeah, the first race, I mean, it was really important for me to qualify well. I really like this track, so I knew I could probably get a good starting position, and luckily I was able to kind of defend off Jeff, I think, in the first race and hold on there. And for the second and third races, I knew it was just going to be kind of avoiding the carnage that always happens at Lime Rock. And for the most part, I was able to get around all the little incidences and make my way up a bit.
Lime Rock Park is a very elbows out little bullring of a racetrack, but next week we head to Indianapolis. That track is a whole lot bigger, a whole lot wider, has a lot less elevation. How do you feel about your chances next week at Indy?
It's been a long time since I've ran at the Indy road course, so definitely have to do some testing there, but yeah, very different to Lime Rock, so it'll take a different kind of mentality going in, but I'm excited for it.
Jake, congratulations on the night. We'll see you next week at Indy. Nice run. We'll see you later.
All right, thank you.
Bye. Carter Kundinger finished in second in race number 3 tonight. Carter, you return to SCRS Ferrari Challenge after a week off at Road Atlanta. Strong run tonight, but 7 seconds back from Kurt Crum. Do you think you could have done anything with him had you gotten there?
No, it was definitely a tough race tonight. I honestly didn't think I had too much pace, so to come out with at least a second in that last race was kind of a shock for me. But yeah, no, I mean, all the top guys, like, this is just such a small track where the amount of time you can actually pick up in the corners is very minimal. So to really say like that I could have gotten a 6-second lead down to 0 would have been almost impossible unless he was like driving backwards around the track or whatever. But no, yeah, I mean, it was honestly fun at times, not fun at other times, especially during that wreck during the second race. And yeah, no, I mean, I'm looking forward to the remaining events on the schedule.
Carter, nice job tonight. We'll see you next week in Indianapolis.
Yeah, thank you, Kyle.
Christian Oss finished this race, the last one of the night, in 6th place, but I don't think that's what we should talk about. How about we talk about the climb from 18th to 6th tonight? A lot of pace, Christian. You had a really strong run in one of the races earlier in the evening in the second race, but dropped down throughout the order throughout that one. But really good pace in the third race. Take us through your night and charging up through the field.
Basically, the plan was I knew it was going to be carnage, so I just kind of let the carnage happen. I made some aggressive moves here and there, but I just kind of let things happen and just let the night play out. Nice and easy.
Nice and easy for sure. It was very elbows out for a lot of those drivers. But we head for our final 3 rounds to Indianapolis, Imola, and Road America. And I feel like I remember the race I always remember with you running is Watkins Glen, the first season that we streamed with you and Andrew Mickey.
Yeah.
Take me back, to that point in your career. Do you feel like you can have that sort of a race at Indianapolis, Imola, or Road America? Because I'm putting Road America as one I think you can win.
No, I don't know about me in the AM class, maybe. Road America, I've never done Indianapolis, so it's going to take some practice to get quick there. Imola, that one's always fun for all the wrong reasons. But I think, we'll see. I've kind of come into racing, the whole first 3 quarters of the season have been a little rough, and I've had a poor mentality going into them, and this past week, I've kind of shifted my mentality about how I approach these races just in general, and I think that's one of the things that I noticed the most tonight was I was a lot more calm and collected and focused than I have been in a lot of previous races. So that I think has something to contribute to it, and I think I will continue to do what I am doing to help further that improvement.
Well, Christian, it was a really good run for you tonight in your bright blue and black number 157. So congratulations on that. We'll see you next week at Indianapolis. We'll see if you can get a couple spots better.
All right, sounds great. Thank you very much.
No problem. We'll see you later. That's going to do it for us tonight. We've got Finian had to run off to do a league race here, so we are all done for the evening. Thank you so much for watching SCRS Ferrari Challenge from Lime Rock Park. Next week, it'll be the Indianapolis Road Course in Indianapolis, Indiana. That place is always spectacular to drive, spectacular to watch from. We'll see you there next week. We'll be live tomorrow night, right here on SimTV at 8 p.m. for the Washington, D.C. Region SCCA iRacing League from New Jersey Motorsports Park, just a stone's throw away. See you later.